good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome back to I Saw You in That Thing I Saw You In, the podcast where we sit down with New England-based actors to discuss the craft of acting, projects they've done, things they've learned along the way, tales from the set, and tips on how to get your foot in the door. As always, our show is sponsored by the Parody News Network. Every week, PNN takes aim at a popular movie or TV show and parodies the shit out of it. If you're looking for humor and entertainment, not to mention a break from mainstream news programs, subscribe to the Parody News Network and enjoy watching the news again. Go to youtube.com/Parody News Network to like and comment your little heart out. PNN, your favorite movies and TV shows, satirized for your protection. And so, without further ado, please welcome the lovely and talented Jim LaVeck. You're originally from the West Coast.
Yes.
Where exactly?
Well, I was born in LA County.
Okay.
Moved into Kern County up in the middle of nowhere.
Is that wine country?
No, that's near Bakersfield.
So onion country?
Well, I don't know. We lived in Lake Isabella, so
Okay.
It's like an hour away from Bakersfield through this canyon. From 12 to when I graduated school, and then I moved to Santa Barbara, and then Ventura, and then here.
Wow, you were all over.
I was all over.
Yeah.
Well, and then while I technically lived in Ventura because I traveled for work all the time, I lived in England and Buenos Aires and some time in France, and I was just North Carolina for 2 years, Memphis. I was all over the place.
You should end with the exotic places.
Well, the funny thing is that when I first started consulting,
Yeah.
I took the job because they promised me exotic places, like Bangkok,
Oh.
China, and I'm like, hey, if I can travel on somebody else's dime, hell yeah, I'll go for it.
Sure.
The first place they sent me was Birmingham, Alabama. Now, for a Southern Californian who was, fairly young at the time, that was definitely a foreign place. It wasn't exotic, but it was definitely foreign.
I guess maybe if you sort of change the definition of exotic, it was probably exotic for you.
Well,
in many
if I
ways.
Changed the way, Fitchburg is exotic then.
I guess. To me, it is. So, yeah, fair enough. Anyone else in your immediate family in the arts? Acting, singing, anything like that? Or is it just you?
My mom, when we were growing up, she used to sing in a nightclub.
Oh, really?
She was one of the waiters waitresses, and she sang. But I never saw her perform because I was a kid, and so I think that's really the only person in my family that has done anything like this.
Did she enjoy it?
Yeah, she did.
And she never took that beyond the singing waitress route?
No.
Huh. Interesting.
She had 3 kids to raise.
Sure.
In the 70s.
Right. Well, yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, that's fair. That's
fair.
fair.
It was a little more difficult back then, I think.
Sure.
Well, even now, I mean.
But that can sometimes lead to the weekend warrior thing where you're doing shows on the weekends and whatever.
Yeah.
But so you have siblings and neither of them are in the arts.
That is correct. One of them has passed away, and although she played guitar.
Oh, okay. All right.
And she did a little singing, but it was for fun, personal enjoyment kind of stuff. My brother doesn't do anything artistic like that.
So it's all you. All the talent is sitting
me.
right here in front of me.
Exactly.
Extraordinary.
I am extraordinary. Thank you.
I will not argue that. You were bitten by the acting bug when you were 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
Talk about the taping of I Can Read in Los Angeles.
So,
what is I Can Read?
1972.
72, sure. I can picture that.
I was in kindergarten, I think it was. So I Can Read was like a PBS show that it's kind of like Reading Rainbow.
Okay.
But it was specific, I guess, to the LA area.
Okay.
And so we, as a class, took a field trip to go see a taping of I Can Read. And at the time, my favorite color was green. I was wearing a green polo shirt. Oh, well, okay. Hey, I'm wearing...
Ladies and gentlemen, he's wearing a green polo shirt.
I am, actually. Wow, that was okay. So suddenly transported back to 5 years old. And the story was about Timothy the turtle.
Okay.
And so I was wearing green. I got to play the turtle. So the turtle, somehow falls on his back. I can't remember how. This was 1972, and we're many years after that right now.
Sure.
But so the turtle is on his back. He can't turn over, and all of his forest friends helped him turn over so he's right side up.
Okay.
So that was basically it. And I'm like, this was fun.
But so you were chosen strictly because you were wearing green?
That's the story I'm telling myself now because I don't know exactly why I was chosen, but
Okay.
I believe that's likely why.
Okay.
I can't remember the specifics. I have somewhere a letter from PBS thanking me for being on the show, and so, my mother kept a scrapbook, so I had that, and it's like, and I have not been able to find a copy of that tape because I would love to find a copy of that tape.
Sure. If anyone listening was watching I Can Read in 1972 and remembers a kid in green playing Timothy the Turtle, please reach out and let us know. We would love to get our hands on
LA.
that video. Yes, from LA.
Yeah, I'd love to show my kids.
In high school, you joined the drama club.
Yep.
What were some of the shows that you did?
I think one of the one I had most fun with was we did a Saturday Night Live.
Oh.
And so I got to play several characters. I think I did the Bumblebee character, Jim Belushi. I did a Jim Belushi, the one with the baseball, or not, the cheeseburger.
Oh, the samurai.
Yeah, the samurai.
Yeah.
I know. I remember doing the Weekend Update. Generally, Simos Francisco Franco is still dead. Yeah, so there were several skits on that we did.
Yeah.
I also wrote and directed and did a couple of quote unquote student films.
Okay.
One of which was a fan film of the end of MASH.
Huh.
So I had a completely different ending.
Okay. I'm still not over the original ending, so I would love to see your interpretation of it.
It is somewhere on a VHS tape, I believe somewhere in my house, or it's lost to history.
Wow.
And then another one was, I can't even remember what that one was. Yeah, I don't remember what that one was.
So you weren't doing like traditional musicals, you were doing
No.
like sketches and skits and stuff?
There was probably one play I can't remember.
Okay. But your primary memory is of doing
Yeah,
the Saturday Night Live stuff.
That was the most fun.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like it
We
was.
did not do musical stuff. I don't think. It's a very rural school.
Okay.
I had 111 in my graduating class.
Okay.
It was like farm and country, so it's a little more less theatrical, let's say.
Okay. So not like Beverly Hills High School or anything.
Right.
Okay.
No Nepo babies.
Sure. Yeah. And probably not the production values that you would have from
right.
Beverly Hills High
Yeah.
School. I'm not bashing Beverly Hills High School in any way. I'm just saying it
you
is
can afford it. You can afford it.
You compare everything to it because I'm sure they are able to do whatever they like whenever they like as far as productions.
Right.
So, and then off to college.
Then off to college.
Where was that?
I went to UC Santa Barbara.
Okay.
I want to say I was stupid, but I wasn't. I only applied to one school.
Okay.
I only applied to UC Santa Barbara.
Okay.
That was the only campus I loved, the only school I wanted to go to.
Nothing wrong with that.
So, no, but the stupid thing was it was only one school that I applied to, and I did not have a plan B if that didn't work.
I see.
But
You outsmarted them because you got in.
I got being one of the 4.0s in my class. Yeah, whatever.
There you go.
So yes, I did get in. And at the same time, I also started doing some extra work in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember a Skinamax show that I was an extra on.
Like a proper, like Skinamax? Like a proper Skinamax? Or
Yeah,
just...
when it was almost referred to as Skinamax because it was like softcore
porn, right?
Yeah. I was an extra. I was not...
You were not participating.
I was not participating in the... Although, I was younger and probably a little better looking back then.
No.
I was younger.
I don't believe it. Well, yeah, I believe you were younger.
But
you must have seen some things.
I did, but honestly, I can't remember a heck of a lot of that.
You blocked it all out.
I guess so.
I would.
Well, I mean, it wasn't paying me enough because I lived in Santa Barbara and driving to LA.
Yeah.
It was over an hour drive.
Yeah.
With traffic, or actually probably closer to 2 hours with the traffic.
Right.
It just wasn't paying enough to keep pursuing it. So I, went into corporate world and made a living.
Never looked back.
Well, I did look back eventually.
Well, that's what we're doing now. Actually, we're looking back.
It's retrospective.
Did you? But did you do? Were there productions at college that you did or were able to do?
No, because I was working 2 full-time jobs.
Okay.
And carrying the 16 quarter units because I had to pay for school, I had to pay for the apartment, I had to pay for everything. So I didn't have the time or the bandwidth to do those things that I liked to do.
Okay.
I did the things I had to do.
Gotcha. So you just weren't able to take advantage.
Right.
Okay.
I'm sure there were. I just didn't. It wasn't on my radar.
Okay. Fair enough. So let's talk about some of these productions that you've been a part of. Let's talk about. First of all, I before we start talking about it, I want to talk about the tagline for "We Selfish Few."
Okay.
The tagline. It's a comedy for the ages. Devin's battle with cancer unearths inner conflicts among his loved ones. Boy, that must have had him rolling in the aisles.
Oh yeah.
Now this qualifies
that was
as
a comedy.
This well, I'm just saying that wow, that's heavy. But this qualifies as I saw you in that thing I saw you in because I watched it. And it was heavy, man. It was seriously heavy. Was that one of the earliest things that you did?
No, that's actually one of the later things I did. That was probably 2 years ago.
Oh wow, okay.
And the funny thing with that, so I played the dad of the guy, the kid who's dying,
right?
And his friends and sister going through a hard time with that, and so I did have a little bit of emotional gravitas to that. But the funny thing was that the guy who played my son, a couple months later, I was at another shoot where he was that same actor played my cousin who was having an affair with my wife.
Wow. Okay. All right. All right.
And that one was called Sunset Syndication, which the concept was kind of interesting because it was a TV channel or syndicate that was taken over by spirits, and so the spirit would go through these different scenes and different shows that were on the air at the time. So it was actually a very interesting concept, and so that was just a lot of fun to shoot because we did it straight, we did it with accents, we did it with just moving our mouths so that we could overdub in different languages and we just speak gibberish. And it was a lot of fun. It was a really very creative student film.
That was Sunset Syndication, not
We Selfish Few. It was also a student film.
Okay,
but that was from students over at Fitchburg State.
Okay, Late. Well, let me do the tagline for Late. Late. Two strangers, April and Adam, meet in a cemetery and discover that they were both mutual lovers to the same man who is now deceased.
Yep.
Another laugh riot.
Well, yeah.
Light stuff. Real light stuff.
So Everybody tells me I have a face for comedy.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But I seem to be doing more dramatic roles lately.
Yeah.
Or not lately, but just in general. So I'm trying to find something really good comedy outside of PNN because, that is the pinnacle of comedy.
Naturally.
Here, I'll get my nose. So yeah, that was an interesting shoot. The guy that we were both involved with, Jimmy Jules, was on.
Jimmy
PNN
Jules, I know him. Yes.
But I did not work with him.
Oh, okay.
So I never worked with him on the set. But I met his widow, quote unquote, at the cemetery, and she realized, she was wearing his watch.
Okay.
That I gave him when we were in college because he was always late for everything.
Ah.
And so I gave him the watch. She was wearing it, and so she's like, well, what? Everybody has a watch. What are you talking about? What's special about this one? I said, there's a date on it. That's the date I gave it to him. That was our anniversary.
Aha.
And she's like, are you telling me my husband was gay? No, I think you're probably thinking about bisexual. But yeah, so that was interesting because I don't. Have you worked with Mimi Walsh?
Yes.
As well. So
sure.
Mimi Walsh was the
with
wife.
PNN.
Okay, she did work with PNN.
She did.
Okay. Early on.
Yep.
I thought, okay.
So did Jimmy Jules.
Yeah.
Everybody works with PNN
Everybody
eventually.
works with PNN eventually. So that was a nice experience. It was outside on a cemetery in winter.
Lovely.
And in between scenes, we were in our cars, just trying to stay warm because it was freaking cold.
I would think so. Yes.
But yeah, that was I think one of the first student films I did.
Okay. All right. And then of course we talked about this a little bit before, but Beach Chain is the big film.
The Beach Chain is the first feature that I am part of. That is a story. It's kind of like Lost Meets Saw, where a bunch of strangers wake up on a beach chained to something that's out in the ocean, and at random times it will drag them out to sea. I originally joined on as a producer, and they did a whole bunch of filming in Florida, and when they got done filming, they realized there's some plot holes. So then we added the second group of people, which then included me as the quote-unquote leader, as an airline pilot. And so that during my shoot, I got to work with Paul Campbell, who's one of the biggest stars to come out of Jamaica. And that was a very interesting shoot because we had basically a day. Yeah, I think it was just one day that we were on set at the beach, all day, chain on my leg, and I'm like, at some point during the day, I realized, you guys aren't shooting my legs, are you? Can I take this thing off? Because it was a really heavy chain and shackled, and at one point, Paul has this line. I think it's probably in the trailer. Look at me, I'm a black man in chains again. And I'm like, yeah, well, you're in chains. I'm in chains. We're all in chains.
And they're all uncomfortable. And unnecessary for these particular shoots.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was fun. A lot of talented people that I worked with on that as well.
Do you think you'll be working with that particular group again on future projects?
Well, I have, actually.
Oh.
Once again, I Saw You in That Thing I Saw You In is sponsored by the Parody News Network. Every week, PNN takes aim at a popular movie or TV show and parodies the shit out of it. If you're looking for humor and entertainment, not to mention a break from mainstream news programs, subscribe to the Parody News Network and enjoy watching the news again. Go to youtube.com/Parody News Network to like and comment your little heart out. PNN, your favorite movies and TV shows, satirized for your protection.
So, based on that performance, the same writer, director, producer wrote a part specifically for me in a movie called Spy Balloon.
Right, Spy Balloon.
Spy Balloon.
Yes.
So, Spy Balloon, I like to say, is... You remember when the Chinese spy balloons were all coming over to the United States? And there were like 3 of them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is the one that they didn't tell you about.
Okay.
So, this particular balloon actually carried Chinese soldiers. And they landed in America, and they slaughtered a whole bunch of people. And they're basically terrorists running around America trying to blow things up.
Let's talk about your stage work.
Okay.
What brought you to the Proscenium Arch? What drove you to seek that out?
So, when the pandemic hit,
Mm-hmm.
everything goes back to the pandemic.
Yep.
Couldn't go out and do things.
Right.
So there was a period of introspection where I was like, what really brought me joy? And I remembered performing and enjoying that so much. And so I started taking acting classes via Zoom. And the opportunity came up where it's like, where I could play a role in a Neil Simon play, Rumors.
Yes.
Yes. So I had a role there, and we went to rehearsals. Unfortunately, we weren't able to actually get it on board because we had to delay so many times because people were getting COVID.
Ah.
And the estate would not allow us to extend any further.
Gotcha.
For some reason. But I enjoyed working with that team and the people involved in the group. It was Stageworks Theater Group.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they had auditions for a musical cabaret style show, I'm like, well, that sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give that a shot. And so I auditioned, sang a song. They loved it. So I got cast. And so I've done 4 of them now, 3 or 4, and auditioning next week for another one. Probably my last one because... I was supposed to have been moved by now.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, but we're enjoying the fact that you have not. We're taking full advantage of the fact that you have not.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Is it obviously it's a very different experience from being on camera. Do you prefer one to the other?
I think being on camera is a little more forgiving than being on stage.
Yes.
Because and at least on camera I can say, you know what, I don't feel like I did that right. So let me try that again. Mm-hmm. Or the director can say, can you try something different? Or, it's more collaborative to me.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, with a play, you can do that collaboration before it gets in front of an audience.
Right.
But it's very unforgiving if you screw up or you miss your lines or something like that. You really have to listen, and you really have to pay attention to what's going on, because if somebody loses their lines, you got to be able to keep the story going forward.
Right.
So I think for me, in front of the camera is more forgiving. I do like the challenge of the other. So I had an opportunity to do a quote-unquote straight play.
How ironic.
With Earl.
With Earl Fecter?
Earl Fecter.
Of PNN fame?
Of PNN fame.
Wow.
Had recommended me to a director.
Mm-hmm.
And so I auditioned. They loved the audition. They offered me the role. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to be out of town these number of weeks in May.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, it would have completely messed up the rehearsal schedule and the go live performances. So I had to basically say, sorry guys, I can't do that because I've already got this vacation planned and I'm going away. So
are you on another cruise?
I did go on a cruise, but I also went to visit my parents.
Okay, fair enough.
And to make sure that they understood what they needed to do to get me moved.
Sure.
None of us are getting any younger. So I was really nervous about it, but the audition went so well that I think I could have had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
So
that stinks.
I will keep an eye open for other opportunities, but we'll see.
Those will be on the West Coast.
Probably.
I would think.
Yes.
If you ever get moved. Who knows?
If I ever... I have to get moved.
One of these days.
Yeah.
One of these days. What are your general thoughts on the Boston acting scene?
I don't really have any thoughts about the Boston
You
acting
must
scene.
have thoughts on the Boston acting scene. Is it vibrant? Are there enough roles out there for everybody? Is it cutthroat? Is it congenial? Is it easy to get into?
I see a lot of things posted on Backstage or Actors Access. Boston Casting sends out things. It seems a little, at least for me, it feels a little difficult to get into any of the local productions, the big productions. They seem to, prefer people like Liz Bishop of PNN fame as well.
Liz Bishop of PNN fame, yes. Well,
in
of
an
course
Oscar-winning
they prefer
film.
Liz
Yes.
Bishop. Everyone
Who
does.
wouldn't? I think another part for me is I work full-time, and sometimes more than full-time. And I've got the other gigs that I'm working on, right? So I don't always have the availability to do some of the local stuff as much as I would like to.
Okay.
So I don't know how difficult it is to break into it. I see things all the time that's taking place in the area. Whether or not it's a part for me or not, it's there, but I haven't been able to pursue many of them because they interfere with what pays my bills.
Right. No, that makes sense. So, but there, generally speaking, from your observation, there are opportunities.
Yeah, I see plenty of opportunities.
Okay. All right. Just not ones that you can necessarily take advantage of.
Not necessarily ones that I would take advantage of, or not necessarily ones that are looking for my physical characteristics. Right.
They're looking for Liz's
certain age. Right.
Sure.
Certain age, certain look.
Right.
I'm not that classic look.
Right. Do you have a favorite director, favorite production company, favorite team?
For the Stageworks crew, these musical cabarets, I think they're fun. And the people that I work with, it's usually Gavin and Kate. They're brother-sister duo that are very supportive. They provide an environment that is welcoming and fosters creativity, and even though they're directing, there's very little you need to do it this way, except in things like choreography. So I love working with those two, just because of the environment that they foster. You also give us that kind of creative license to take our characters where we feel it's good, and it's always a welcoming experience to work on PNN set. So there's definitely that. But so those are people that I've worked with frequently. The others have been kind of one-off projects that I've worked with. But I think for me, the type of person that I like working with are those that give us the creative license to determine the character and how to portray that character, and that provide an environment that supports the artist as well with respect.
Sure. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. How does being a gay man...
Who told?
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I should have braced you for that. Play into the work that you do? Does it factor in any way?
I don't know that it factors into the work as other than how I interpret a character's humanity, or how I look at whether or not I'm drawn to a project. But I don't think that the sexuality of the actor really matters in terms of the work.
Okay.
Most of the characters I've played have not been gay. So, there's that.
There's that. Fair enough.
It really only matters if I'm going to jump in bed with someone.
I suppose. Oh, you mean within the production? I see.
Yes,
right,
within the
right,
production.
right. Yeah, that
would be acting.
That would be acting. You're right. Absolutely correct. Do you have a most embarrassing moment from anything that you've done that comes to mind?
I think one of the more challenging ones that I did was it was an outdoor scene for a movie called The Circus, and the forecast called for rain.
Okay.
And so there was a little bit of rain. So in order to keep the rain going, we had people off screen, squirting me with a hose. This was December.
Sounds lovely.
Outside, screaming at the top of my lungs at this event. Water going straight into my face. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. It was. I don't know that it was embarrassing, but it was uncomfortable.
Okay, all right, that's fair. It certainly sounds it.
And that was the same character that I had to become a lech, trying to seduce a young lady. And it was, but a very creepy way.
Okay.
But yeah, but it was so that was fun, ish.
Sure.
Fun-ish, because there are some other parts of that shoot that I had to corn syrup. There was red corn syrup for blood, and I had to keep licking it off of my fingers. I don't know how many takes we took, but if I never am near corn syrup again, it will be too soon.
That's fair. I would tend to think that embarrassing moments would be more likely in live productions. Were there any moments on stage that come to mind? Or has everything gone perfectly, flawlessly, never a hiccup in any way?
Gosh.
While everything was falling around you, you were perfect.
Well, but the perfection of me is around being silly.
I see.
So this last episode, there was somebody singing, and I was in the background, and then we were supposed to, just all of a sudden wave our ribbon wands or whatever, and we're just dancing along with the music. I was just being so carefree and silly in the moment because it was completely silly scenario, and somebody behind the scenes, behind the stage, was taking video of it. I didn't know that they had taken video, and I finally saw it, and I was like, "Oh my God, what an idiot!" But it was perfect for what was being done.
Yeah. So you were lost in the moment.
I was lost in the moment, but I was projecting my character.
But it worked.
It worked.
That's the important thing.
I'm sure that there have been times. I know certainly in rehearsals, I've gone out there and I'm like, what the hell are my lines?
That's embarrassing.
That's embarrassing. And just forgetting forgetting what song I'm singing.
That's
that kind
embarrassing
of stuff.
too.
Yeah. So, but by showtime, it's drilled in. We've done the tech week. We've done multiple rehearsals. Usually, showtimes, I don't recall any embarrassing issues during showtime.
Well, congratulations. You're the first one on this podcast who that doesn't have one spring immediately to mind.
I can't think of one, but then I'm always in the moment, and it's just once I'm done, and it's done. So.
I'll have to ask some of your co-stars.
Diane might know.
Diane DeShellis?
Yes.
Also of PNN?
Yes.
She probably
I'm name
remembers
dropping.
something.
Yeah. Yeah, she and I were on that last show together.
She's wildly talented. I love
she
her.
is.
What's something you'd like to do in the future that you haven't done yet?
I'm looking forward to actually doing a red carpet.
Really?
Yeah.
You've never done a red carpet?
I've never done a red carpet.
Huh. Okay.
So now that I've produced a couple of films that we're going to eventually do a world premiere, I suppose.
Right.
I'll have the opportunity to walk a red carpet.
Wow. You're the first person on this podcast to have that immediately come to mind. Everyone has to think, but man, that was right there.
That's the first thing that came to mind.
But it was ready. That's clearly something that you are looking forward to doing.
Looking forward to doing that.
Nice. What advice would you give to aspiring actors who are just starting out?
study your craft, practice your craft. And when you do auditions, that's the work. You do your preparation, you do the work for the audition. If you get the role, that's cake. But if you don't do the work to get the audition, then you're not going to get the role. You have to focus on bringing that character to life as what you think it needs, not what you think they think it needs. And so that's lessons that I've learned from my mentor and coach.
It's that's my favorite question because I've gotten so many wonderful answers to it. I've gotten, you have to have a thick skin.
Yeah.
You have to keep grinding. You can't give up the grind.
Nobody's gonna knock on your door.
Exactly. And then most recently, if you reach the point where there's no longer joy, then stop. Because you're not going to recapture the joy if you've lost it. If you've lost the joy of performing, stop. Which I thought was really interesting. Like
that is, yeah. Well, I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's probably true for
Yeah.
anything. If you've lost the joy of it. I mean, that lunatic who's running Parody News Network is going into season 14. I mean, something's wrong with him that the joy
Clearly.
can last that long,
Yeah.
especially with the people he has to work with.
Case in point.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I can totally see, like, if you reach that point, that's got to be really tough, I would think, to lose the joy. But I would hate. I hate the idea of like forcing it.
And that kind of, I understand that, because to me, when I'm on stage or I'm in front of the camera, it doesn't feel like work. I'm enjoying myself. I'm doing this for fun. And as long as I'm enjoying myself, I'll keep doing it.
Right.
When it becomes work, then, it doesn't hold the same joy.
Right. Sure enough. And I think we all kind of know the answer to this, but what's next for you?
I'll take over the world. I don't know.
Well, first there's the
Yes,
move.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well.
and then you take over the world? Those are the two
events,
steps?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So what's next? I have an audition on Monday, so I'll find out in a couple weeks whether or not I get a role. I'm going to be in New York in a couple of weeks, filming my third feature.
Wow. Very
As
exciting.
a high school principal in an inner city Harlem school.
I can totally see it.
Yeah, where I think I know what I want to do with this character, in terms of how I'm going to portray him. I just have to mull that over a little bit more. And yeah, eventually, probably in the spring, moving back to California. Things got a little bit delayed this year.
The funny thing is, I hope I try to make these as evergreen as possible. So the spring could be, who
spring,
knows,
yes.
2027, 2032. I mean, people could be listening to this.
But 2026, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see.
It was supposed to be 2025, but
The goalposts
other
keep
circumstances,
moving.
yes,
Sure.
other life circumstances. So yeah, that's really the only thing that's where I'm focused on right now. Is finishing up these things that I'm working on.
Very nice. All right. Well, Jim LaVeck, thank you. And thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time on I Saw You in That Thing I Saw.
If you're hearing this message, you've listened to the entire podcast, and for that, thank you. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please leave us a review on Spotify. See you next week for another installment of I Saw You in That Thing I Saw You In.